Did you know that many music producers and songwriters who have left their day jobs to do music full-time aren't technically full-time? They actually have a dirty little secret that they would never tell you, but they do tell me because I advise their business. And the dirty little secret is that even though they claim full-time status in the music industry, in reality, they are actually living off of credit card debt to pay their bills, and that debt is stacking up month after month. And I'm not here to shame anybody for that because many years ago, I found myself in that same position. I was desperate to do anything to make this career work. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the money mistakes and bad habits that I see many freelance music producers and songwriters make so that you can avoid them and achieve real financial security in your music career. And this isn't just as simple as stop spending money, because not spending enough money is actually one of the worst mistakes you could make in your music career. But before I tell you that story, we first have to understand the system that is keeping music producers broke, even when it seems like things are going well. I call this system the slot machine system. Imagine that you're sitting in a casino in Vegas, and for the past week, you've been showing up every day, aimlessly pumping all of your hard-earned money into a slot machine and losing it. But you see other people around you winning tons of money, so you just keep going. And finally, the day that you've been waiting for arrives. You hit the jackpot. You're sweating, screaming, texting your mom, and back up at your hotel room, you're counting up all of your winnings, and life seems great. But then you notice something. You realize that in reality, you didn't actually recoup all of the money that you initially gambled, and you're actually in the hole $100. But you did technically hit the jackpot, so you talk yourself into thinking that's still a win. You post about it on social media, and then you go right back to playing the slot machines. Money mistake number one is basing the financial health of your career on how you feel instead of basing it on reality. Music producers trick themselves every day into thinking that they are financially secure just because they made some money that month, only to be shocked when 6 months later, they are back to struggling. And this roller coaster of ups and downs has most likely been completely normalized by their peers and colleagues, so they don't worry about it too much. They tell themselves that this happens to everybody, not realizing that maybe their producer buddies, despite having credits and Grammys, aren't actually that competent at running a business either. We all know that in the music industry, we have two buckets of income. Our risk bucket, projects that could have big payouts but aren't guaranteed, and our control bucket, which is income that we control and can earn at will when we need it. The control bucket is there to support the investments we make in the risk bucket. But if you don't know how to go out and generate income on demand, then you lack business skills. It's black or white. You either have those skills or you don't. Just because a big paycheck landed in your risk bucket doesn't guarantee that you'll have financial security long term. The only thing that guarantees long-term financial security is you knowing how to go out and make money with your musical abilities and then leverage some of that money to go take the risks that can grow your career. But you actually have to go take risks. The financial risks are just as important as financial security when it comes to growing your music career. I'll explain this with a quick story. One of the producers here at Dark Label reached out to me to get some support because he felt stuck, completely burned out, and he was afraid of letting go of a $2,400 per month project that was draining his energy and didn't align with his long-term goals. So I asked him to send me his monthly income for the past 6 months. And I noticed that every month he was making anywhere between $4,000 and $16,000 per month as a solo producer songwriter with only one assistant. I booked a Zoom meeting with him so I could ask him 3 important questions. The first question was how much his monthly expenses were, his cost of living. He's a young guy that doesn't live in a major city, so it was only $2,000 per month. The second question I asked was, where is all the rest of your money going? You're earning 2 to 8 times what you need to live each month. And he said that the majority of it is being put into savings. Okay. So my final question to him was, how many months could you survive if everything shut down today and money stopped coming in? He told me 72 months. That's 6 years of runway. Money mistake number 2 is what I call misuse of funds, aka either spending money on the wrong things or hoarding money and not spending it on the right things. When you detach from money being an emotional thing, like in point 1 of this video, You can start looking at money like it's fuel. That's it. Money itself is never the goal. It is there to be used to get you to the goal, like gasoline is used to get your car to the destination you want to go to. This producer has the means to solve all of his problems, but without knowing it, his behavior would indicate that money is his goal, which is why he was overworked and miserable. Because his actual goal is to just be financially secure and have creative freedom and lifestyle flexibility. And if he doesn't use his money to achieve that goal, then the money he has sitting in that savings account is actually worthless. Once you're to a point where you can pay your bills, you have a small emergency fund, and are able to invest a little each month towards retirement, any money left over has one job and one job only: to be used as fuel to get you to your final destination. In this case, your big goals. But most producers that have given up their day jobs before developing any business skills aren't in a position where they can pay their bills, have an emergency fund, and put something aside for retirement. And this is because of money mistake number 3, and it is a crucial one. In 2019, I had a phone call with a freelance music producer and engineer who was stuck in a position where he was working 24/7, but still wasn't able to pay his bills. And we didn't end up working together until 4 years later in 2023, when he reached back out to me and was literally in the same position he was back in 2019. Again, no shame here, but it just goes to show how crucial this mistake is and that many music freelancers fall into this trap. So I asked him how much he charged, and he said around $100 per hour. I immediately knew that math didn't add up, so I rephrased the question. Instead, I asked, not how much do you charge per hour, but how much do you actually earn per hour? And he didn't really have any idea because it wasn't being tracked. So after digging into the situation, I quickly realized what was going on. He would quote a band, let's say $10,000 for a 6-song EP, which would be around 2 months of work. The band would come back and say, we can only spend $3,000. And this producer, without thinking, would just say, okay, yeah, sure, I can do it for $3,000. Now, on the surface, he needs the money, right? Like, he'd rather have work than not have work as a freelancer. So what's the problem here? Well, money mistake number 3 is simply not understanding the economics of your business and saying yes to things reactively. This producer agreed to the same amount of work at 30% of the fee, forgetting that this would still take 2 months. So now he's locked himself into making only $1,500 per month for all of his time, which is less than what his monthly expenses are. But he thinks everything is fine because he keeps landing projects and has work. If the band only has $3,000, then that's fine. But the scope of the project has to change. They don't get a full 10-song album. The producer's job is to help the artist or client come to the conclusion that investing their budget into less songs or a smaller scope would be a better way to spend that money. And since that may only take 4 weeks of work for this producer, it now aligns with that producer's economics. He can make $3,000 in 1 month. You can work with any budgets that you want to, but you have to ensure that big or small, the project fits your economics, or you will forever spin your wheels and wonder why you're working all the time and still feel broke. There are probably 50 more basic money mistakes that producers and music freelancers make every single day, but they don't ever realize it because they don't have guidance and they're not around peers that understand this stuff. So if you want to change that, then use the link in the description below to learn more about what we do here at Dark Label. And then watch this next video where I answer the question, when is the right or wrong time to give up your day job and do music full time?